a gifted songwriter and producer who co-founded the 90s dance music duo C+C Music Factory with his musical partner Robert Clivilles. Many consider them the greatest house music duo of all time. David Cole and Robert Clivilles played a significant role in shaping the 90s dance and pop music scene.
Come on, let's work, baby. Things that make you
Things that make you go.
With many of their tracks still popular on dance floors today. One standout song produced, arranged, and mixed by them is A Deeper Love, sung originally by Deborah Cooper and later by Aretha Franklin. This track is celebrated as an anthem within the LGBT community. David Cole and Robert Clivilles collaborated with icons such as James Brown, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Natalie Cole, Luther Vandross, Grace Jones, and many others, elevating underground dance music to new heights. However, as we'll explore further in the video, the business ventures involving David Cole and his partner Robert Clivilles of C+C Music Factory were not always smooth sailing, so stay tuned for more details. David Brian Cole entered the world on June 3rd of 1962 in Johnson City, Tennessee. His mother, Sandra Cole Turner, raised him alongside his three sisters before the family eventually moved to Passaic, New Jersey. David was known to be smart, kind, and extremely talented. David's love for music began early, and it flourished during his high school days. He actively took part in various music and choir programs during his time in high school. He was a gifted musician, crushing it on the piano, keyboards, and organ. After graduating high school and as a young adult, David decided to showcase his keyboard skills at the Better Days Club. He approached the resident DJ, Bruce Forrest, hoping to play keyboards at the venue. Interestingly, Bruce already recognized David by his distinctive red hair. In an interview, Bruce Forrest talked about the moment at Better Days around 1984 when a shy red-haired kid approached him and told Bruce he was an amazing DJ, but he couldn't play keyboards for shit.
He said, but I gotta be honest, you can't play keyboards for shit. I'm like, excuse me?
Bruce questioned David if he believed he could perform better. David proceeded to demonstrate his piano skills. It was then that Bruce recognized David Cole's remarkable talent as a keyboardist. From then on, David found himself playing at Better Days almost every single night alongside Bruce Forrest. Forrest was a crucial connection for David Cole. He became one of New York's most influential DJs of the 1980s. He made a significant impact not only as a DJ but also as a producer. In 1984, Bruce Forrest mixed Touch Me All Night Long by Fonda Rae. Bruce began to receive a lot of offers to produce and remix music, which eventually led him to give up his Thursday night DJing duties to focus on studio work. As a result, he began offering guest spots on Thursdays to up-and-coming DJs like Robert Clivilles, Shep Pettibone, and David Morales, creating a lineup that was a who's who of DJs. Robert Clivilles regularly DJ'd on Thursday nights at Better Days, but one evening, Bruce needed a DJ for New Year's Eve. It was at this New Year's Eve party at Better Days where David Cole and Robert Clivilles first met.
We played for the rest of the night. We had such a great time that we went to eat breakfast together.
David Cole continued working with Bruce, with whom he had developed a strong musical friendship. Bruce Forrest took on the role of producing a single for David Cole under Epic Records titled Take My Breath Away, which was released in 1988. He didn't solely aim to be a solo artist, he also desired to become a producer, inspired by observing Bruce Forrest's work in music production and remixing. He approached Bruce with a proposal to form a production team together. However, Bruce declined, preferring to work solo and suggesting that David explore other opportunities. Nonetheless, David continued to contribute by playing keyboards in the studio and at Better Days alongside Bruce. As David collaborated with Bruce, he was also building a musical relationship and friendship with Robert Clivilles. Interestingly, Bruce Forrest mentioned in an interview on the Lenny Fontana YouTube channel that allegedly there might have been a romantic connection between David and Robert. Neither Robert Clivilles nor David Cole have confirmed these rumors of a romantic involvement.
Apparently, there was some romantic thing going on between David and Robert.
In the late 1980s, David Cole and Robert Clivilles formed the group Two Puerto Ricans, a Black Man, and a Dominican under Groove Line Records. Their collaboration produced the hit song Do It Properly, featuring Cole, the Black Man, on keyboards, Clivilles, a Puerto Rican, on mixing, Jose Shep Nunez, the Dominican, on editing, and David Morales, another Puerto Rican, contributing to mixing and editing. Interestingly, the inspiration for Do It Properly came from David Cole and Bruce Forrest's performances together, where they would remix Adonis' No Way Back. David Cole and Robert Clivilles solidified their partnership as a producer duo following a setback David faced around the time of their hit song, Do It Properly. It began when David had the opportunity to play keyboards for Janet Jackson's 1987 single, Pleasure Principle. However, when the song came out, David's name was missing from the credits, leaving him deeply hurt. Robert Clivilles remarked that this was the first time he had ever seen David cry. Seeing David upset, Robert reminded him of their progress in the music industry, that they were writing and producing records. Assuring David of their potential for success, Robert encouraged him not to underestimate himself. This conversation inspired them to form a team called Clivilles and Cole, which later evolved into the iconic C+C Music Factory. In 1988, Robert and David took no time to get started producing music, and they recorded a sequel to their 1987 song, Do It Properly. They dropped a track named So Many Ways, Do It Properly Part 2, with the Brat Pack on Vendetta A&M Records. In 1989, two Puerto Ricans, a Black Man, and a Dominican released a song titled Scandalous. This single was distributed by Capitol Records in the United States and in the United Kingdom. Unfortunately, the group was later disbanded. But fortunately, later in 1989, Clivilles and Cole started C+C Music Factory. Before C+C Music Factory reached new heights, David Cole and Robert Clivilles launched various music projects, including the group Seduction in 1988. Seduction charted 5 singles on the Billboard Hot 100 between 1989 and 1990, including 2 to Make It Right, featuring Michelle Visage. Michelle Visage was also part of another Clivilles and Cole project called The Soul System, which produced the 1993 hit It's Gonna Be a Lovely Day a R&B dance pop track that sampled Bill Withers' Lovely Day. This song was featured on the soundtrack of the 1992 film The Bodyguard and became a #1 dance single, peaking at number 34 on the Billboard Hot 100. Michelle Visage was the lead singer for It's Gonna Be a Lovely Day by the Soul System, a group formed under a production deal with Clive Davis. Despite plans for an album, it was never released because the master tapes were not delivered to Arista Records. According to Michelle, Robert and David completed the album in early 1993, but the tapes were never handed over for unknown reasons, leading to the group's abandonment. Despite this setback, today, Michelle Visage has become a household name as a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. She has held this role for over 15 years.
Hygiene is not very important to you, is it?
No, not at all.
David Cole and Robert Clivilles just kept putting out projects after projects. In 1989, Clivilles and Cole formed C+C Music Factory, marking the rise of one of house music's most iconic duos. Under Columbia Records, they showcased a wide range of talents. C+C Music Factory released their debut single, Gonna Make You Sweat, Everybody Dance Now, in 1990, featuring rapper Freedom Williams, Zelma Davis, and vocalist Martha Wash. The song became a chart-topping hit. However, the start of C+C Music Factory started a little shaky or shady as they were achieving success. They faced numerous controversies involving disputes over member credits and lip syncing. Martha Wash, known for her powerful voice as part of the female backup duo for disco singer Sylvester, transitioned to fame when the duo known as 2 Tons of Fun signed with Fantasy Records in 1979. They later changed their name to the Weather Girls and scored their biggest hit with It's Raining Men in 1982, topping the U.S. dance chart. In 1990, Martha Wash recorded the iconic hook for Everybody Dance Now. Originally intended as a demo, her version was used in the final release, and she was credited only as a background singer.
I didn't know that the whole thing was going on until I saw the video on TV.
When she discovered that Zelma Davis lip-synced her parts in the music video, Martha Wash took legal action. On December 11th of 1991, she sued Robert Clivilles, David Cole, and Sony Music Entertainment for fraud, deceptive packaging, and commercial appropriation. The case was settled in 1994, leading Sony to request MTV to add a disclaimer crediting Martha Wash for vocals and Zelma Davis for her performance in the Gonna Make You Sweat video. Now, interestingly, Martha Wash had already sued David Cole for using her lead vocals on the Seduction track You're My One and Only True Love and not giving her credit. Recorded as a demo by Martha Wash in 1989, the song appeared on Seduction's debut album with her lead vocals and Seduction's background vocals. The case was resolved out of court in December of 1990. Robert Clivilles and David Cole often faced legal troubles over copyright issues. Before forming C+C Music Factory, they released Get Dumb, featuring future member Freedom Williams. Boy Jarvis, known as the architect of house music, discovered that Freedom had released a track called Get Dumb, Free Your Body, which heavily sampled Jarvis's song, The Music Got Me. Boy Jarvis sought $15 million in royalties, but couldn't fully prove the damages. The court awarded him $95,872 in compensation. This case set an important standard in sampling music. Robert Clivilles and David Cole encountered copyright issues even while collaborating with Mariah Carey on her second studio album, Emotions. Together they crafted hits like Emotions and Make It Happen, both released in 1991. Unfortunately, Mariah Carey faced copyright infringement issues for the song Make It Happen. In 1994, Kevin McCord sued Mariah Carey, David Cole, Robert Clivilles, and Columbia Records, alleging unauthorized use of his song I Want to Thank You. The chart-topping I Want to Thank You was written and produced by Kevin McCord and performed by Alicia Myers, released in 1981. Kevin McCord settled for approximately $500,000. And if you listen closely, you can definitely hear the resemblance between the two songs. Despite legal challenges, David Cole and Robert Clivilles maintained their status as top producers. In 1991, operating as Clivilles and Cole, they released two covers of U2's Pride in the Name of Love, while the other, A Deeper Love, featuring Deborah Cooper and Paul Pesco, became a hit, reaching number 6 on the U.S. dance chart. A Deeper Love remains a significant track in dance music history. Aretha Franklin's rendition of A Deeper Love for the Sister Act 2 soundtrack, produced by C+C Music Factory, earned a Grammy nomination for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance in 1994. David and Robert also worked with Whitney Houston on her 1993 cover of Shaka Khan's I'm Every Woman. In 1994, C+C Music Factory underwent some changes. Martha Wash joined as a full-time vocalist, and Freedom Williams left C+C Music Factory, allegedly due to some creative differences, which led Freedom Williams to pursue a solo career. And the vocal trio Trilogy replaced him. Their second album, Anything Goes, released in August of 1994, performed okay on the Billboard Top 200. However, its lead single, Do You Want to Get Funky, featuring Martha Wash and Trilogy, became their 6th #1 dance hit. The album also included minor hits, Take a Toke and I Found Love. In 1994, during the filming of the Do You Want to Get Funky video in California, David Cole collapsed after being stung by a bee, revealing to Robert Clivilles that he was gravely ill, a condition David had kept secret. His health rapidly declined, leading to brain surgery to drain fluid buildup. Tragically, he lost his sight in the final 2 weeks of his life. David Cole passed away at Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, New York on January 24th of 1995 at the age of 32 after battling a prolonged illness and ultimately succumbing to spinal meningitis. His deteriorating health since mid-1994 led to speculation about the cause of his death, with some suggesting AIDS.
But we all know that when you have that illness, at that time there was no cure for it.
Even though David had passed, Robert Clivilles kept his name alive and dropped what would be their 7th and final #1 dance hit, I'll Always Be Around by C+C Music Factory. In an interview, Robert Clivilles expressed how David was cherished in the club scene, yet he received no visitors during his fight for survival.
He loves this guy. Yet, I don't see anyone here in this room.
Adding to the heartache, Sony Music dropped C+C Music Factory on the day of David Cole's burial. David was laid to rest at East Ridgelawn Cemetery in Clifton, New Jersey. Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men paid tribute to him by composing One Sweet Day, released in his memory. During the recording of Emotions, Mariah Carey formed a close bond with David Cole. She described him as a church kid who loved dance music and credited him with pushing her as a singer in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. Before C+C Music Factory had their big break with Everybody Dance Now, they worked behind the scenes, co-writing and producing songs for many artists. They left us with many timeless songs that still resonate today. Although David Cole's time on Earth was cut short at only 32 years old, David's musical influence will endure through his timeless music.